despite the fact that the weather's really cold now, we've had a lot of snow. In fact, the night before last, it was -5 at my house in North Wales, and there's a lot of snow on the ground. I'm already looking at my program of planting seeds for summer ahead. And it's the time now to start looking at planting tomato seeds so they get a lot of light throughout the summer, because it's light as much as heat that they need, long days to produce fruit. And I'm looking at things like celeriac, planting that, and cabbage and stuff early on so that I can get a good start for the summer. And sowing seeds is very important because that produces the fruits. And I was thinking about the story, the parable that Yeshua gave us in Matthew 13 about sowing seeds on good ground, and seeds that fell by the wayside, and some seeds were picked up by the birds of the air. And he explains in that parable that there are many things that happen to seeds that are sown, but we still have to sow the seeds. Proverbs 11:18 says, "The one who sows righteousness reaps reward." And the seeds that we should sow in the kingdom are seeds of righteousness, seeds that are healthy and produce good things, things from God. And we should plant those in season, and it's always the season for planting seeds. We've just had a wonderful time with our Holocaust memorials and exhibitions, because we've had schools in, and in fact one school there was 34 children and 8 staff. We also had the home schools in, and there were 15 children there, and we've sowed seeds as to into the next generation about Holocaust, and asking that these children remember Holocaust, because the statistics are that 1 in 5 people have either not heard of Holocaust or don't believe that it's true. So in the UK. So there are serious issues. And in fact, I read a report yesterday that 50% of Canadians couldn't name any of the death camps. So it's important that we sow seeds in those areas. There are other ways of sowing seeds. And last couple of weeks ago, we asked Dave if he could build the creche, because it was really cold for the creche workers where the creche was before, and Dave gave us a price that it would cost something about in the region of $2,500 to finish that off. So we prayed about it, and then we asked Dave, we gave him the go-ahead, and he started to build, and then somebody tithed £2,500. That they are sowing seeds into the next generation, because the creche children are the next generation, so are the tribes. And the tribes workers, the children's leaders, are sowing into that next generation. And it's wonderful to be a part of that. And it's amazing to see what God is doing in those areas. Then this week, we've had a gift of £500 into the church, £100 of which we've been able to sow into Elbia, for the Venezuela fund, and £100 as well has gone into sowing into Sarah's work with the well in Uganda, and we will also sow into Pastor Call's fare for his trip to Israel. That's Pastor Call from Myanmar, and he will take back what he learns in Israel into Myanmar, and he will sow good seed as to what's happening in Israel. And these are very generous gifts that we've had into the church and we're giving out. And then we had a letter came through from Ireland. I was in Ireland in December, from somebody who has given us £460 cash this week. So there's, and I've asked that we sow it into our work with regard to Israel. And that's just amazing, really, what's happening. People sowing seeds and sowing generously. I love this scripture in 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6, which says, "Whoever sows generously reaps generously." And that is amazing. And as I go to start planting my seeds in the next couple of weeks, I will plant more seeds than really I need. Because some of those seeds may not grow. And as Yeshua said in the parable, some fell on stony ground and didn't grow. But I know that God will bless the seeds that I plant, and I will have a crop as a result of that. But I still have to sow generously. And then there is the expectation of a harvest. And I know that what's been sown into Father's house is going to bring a harvest. It's already bringing a harvest. Just this year, we've been to Holland and we've seen so much blessing there. Shirley went down to Dordrecht and she taught on the healing and deliverance ministry, and she's actually set up a healing and deliverance team in Dordrecht. And I went to The Hague and I was with Jack and his congregation, which we helped teach 3 years ago, and now there are nearly 200 people meeting on Shabbat in The Hague. Just amazing what God has done with the seeds that we've all planted. And now I've been asked to go to Scotland to sow seeds there. And I had an email yesterday from a pastor in Stratford-upon-Avon who was just starting to pick up on the feasts and Sabbath, having listened to our YouTube messages, and he wants me to go down there. And then there are other people asking about the feasts and the Sabbath. And that's as a result of us sowing seeds over a period of years. But sowing seeds now, which will produce fruit later on as we mature and develop. But more importantly for me, I am so blessed by the younger people in the congregation. Dave Rutter, Becky, Helen, Sarah, Steve Langer, so many others, the Warrens, who are all going to sow seeds in the future. Sarah Rossiter, who will sow seeds about Sabbath and the feasts in the future, which will reap a harvest in their grandchildren and their children. I'm just so excited about what's happening and what God is doing here. And as he brings people in, Sarah and Ed Nichols, how they understand the Sabbath and how they will sow into the next generation. It's so encouraging for us. So I want to encourage everybody that there is so much happening here at Father's house, but right throughout the world as well, with not only what we do, but how we act and how we behave has an effect on people around us and abroad. And as we give generously of our time and our finances, we know that we will reap spiritually, and God will give us generously his presence. And I just look forward to God's presence in this congregation in the coming months, because we have given generously in all that we have, and we know that God will now pour his Spirit out even more generously than he already has. Well, enjoy the weekend. Shabbat Shalom, Mike Fryer.